Okay, so Dr. Oz, a promoter of various quack cures, homeopathy, raspberry ketones, green coffee bean extract, faith healing, okay, energy healing, and all these different things. He is running for Senate as a Republican in Pennsylvania. There's an opponent of his who's a great choice, John Fetterman. We've talked about that. We've talked about his platform and his campaign a little bit. Dr. Oz is getting the hero's welcome on Fox News. Probably not coming as a surprise to most of you, but softball interview after softball interview over the last 24 hours on a whole bunch of different shows. Let's start with Dr. Oz's interview with Sean Hannity last night.
I could tell you in a minute what my political philosophy is, but rather than me tell you mine, what is yours?
Right.
Well, I'll tell you one thing for sure. Any government that's large enough to give you everything is powerful enough to take it all away. So I don't want that.
That is a hell of a Republican talking point. He knows the talking points. He has them prepared, and this is the right audience for them. That's for sure.
Liberty and freedom, and that to me means limited government. We can do it better than folks very far away from us who don't know our local problems. The more we can be local, the more we can trust the people in our communities, the better off we are.
It's funny because, you know, a lot of the quack cures that he has promoted on his show, his small government perspective would be, maybe that stuff shouldn't even be regulated. I don't maybe it should just be, well, if Dr. Oz promoted this, that's the same as FDA approval. I'm not saying he said that, but this thinking of as little government as possible pushes you in that direction. Let's continue.
I believe in energy independence. That's a big deal here in Pennsylvania. But we don't, as a nation, want to be begging other countries like we're starting to do to change what they're doing with energy because, we're in hock. I believe in capitalism, which means lower taxes and regulations so people can really compete. And I respect the Constitution. A brilliantly written document that I think should be honored on the bench and sometimes isn't. We have free market solutions that
Guys,
work.
he has this. This is actually, it's a minute and he hits like every Republican talking point here.
In healthcare, I'll tell you, since it's my specialty area and I spent my life studying this, we can protect against pre-existing conditions and use free market solutions to healthcare that makes it affordable, accessible for everybody.
Can you imagine? He's spent his life studying healthcare and he has promoted green coffee bean extract, raspberry ketones, and all that other stuff. It's crazy, but he knows the talking points. He has been well trained. In this next clip on Fox and Friends, he warns against mixing politics and medicine. Can you imagine?
When you mix politics and medicine, you get politics.
Right.
What we witnessed, not just with hydroxychloroquine, but many other solutions that have been offered subsequently, is that there's a single perspective that's allowed to get vaccinated. Listen, I think one of the greatest accomplishments of America is that we gave the world the mRNA vaccines through President Trump's Operation Warp Speed. I'm so happy that we were able to do that. And I got vaccinated, and I believe in vaccines. I don't believe in mandates.
Okay.
When you mix
it's so funny when he says, the hydroxychloroquine became politicized. Dude, you were on TV promoting it absent actual medical evidence that it did anything for COVID. And subsequently, its authorization for emergency use was revoked by the FDA. It's, he has the Republican talking points down. He also has Republican projection down perfectly. Here's another one where he's getting into, we got to stop canceling. And I mean, you got to hand it to him. He came in prepared with all of the bullet points that Republicans are currently using.
I'm going to serve America in his time of need the best of my ability. We need better solutions. They're out there. We ought to stop shaming and silencing and bullying and canceling people with ideas that are different than ours, especially when they're good ideas.
Right.
We saw that play out plenty in COVID. And I got to say, in medicine, when you cannot say what you see, people die. So we ought to be able to do at least that. I'm going to serve.
I mean, it's all backwards. But this is why his candidacy has the potential to work. Absent any actual policy, just stating these vague principles that are abandoned when they don't coincide with your beliefs. We should be allowed to say things when there's an idea about medicine. Well, you talked about hydroxychloroquine and it was debunked. Well, but they shouldn't have canceled. You can't cancel. But it was a bad idea. It did not work. Here he is explaining why he's running.
Here's my pledge, my promise to everybody. I want to be your public servant.
Yeah.
And every choice I make will be serving the citizens of Pennsylvania and the United States, and none of them will serve the special interests in Washington, many of whom I've been to war with for most of my career. Let's reinvigorate America.
I think he means at war with, being to war with them. It actually means something different, but I think he means he's been against them.
And let's see that divine spark in each other, because it's there.
Dear God. It's weird. He even mispronounces Pennsylvania as Pennsylvania, like Trump does. Like every aspect of this is very, very Trumpy. Here's a clip that's kind of messed up. The video is weird, but you can hear him say a little bit about immigration. Like actually, this is the only thing I've heard him say that approximates policy.
Immigration is a big problem for a couple of reasons. For one, we're subsidizing cartels.
By the way, he's running in Pennsylvania. Speaking of immigration.
They're involved in human trafficking. I mentioned you're bringing opiates across the border, but lots of other issues as well. I think President Trump was right. People should wait on the Mexican side of the border if they're coming across illegally. Let's deal with all the issues there and not put law enforcement in an impossible predicament where they're forced now that people are in this country to chase them down when we know they're not coming back.
Yeah, you know, and of course, what's being ignored when we don't even have to, it's disgusting me. What's being ignored is they also apply that to people seeking asylum. They say, well, they should seek asylum in Mexico at an office. Like, well, a lot of times people seeking asylum are in dire and dangerous situations. So that's why they're coming over and at the border saying, I am seeking asylum. It's a complicated issue. I'm not pretending it's not. But Dr. Oz presenting us the same simplistic analysis that Donald Trump presented. So welcomed with open arms by right-wing media. We've got to be very careful. This guy has a real shot, not only at winning, but at being the seat that decides whether Democrats or Republicans control the Senate starting in January of 2023. We'll have more of this on our Instagram. Find us on Instagram at David Pakman Show. One of our sponsors is called Privacy. Privacy is a totally free service that I've been using for years. Privacy lets me create virtual payment cards with one click. And when I use the virtual card, the money is taken out of my bank account. You can create multiple cards, delete them, freeze them, set a spending limit on them. Let's say I'm signing up for a free trial and it requires a credit card. Privacy will autofill a virtual card number. And then after signing up, I can delete that virtual card. So I know I'm not going to be charged again. Something really useful and very practical. Or let's say I'm ordering food over the phone, but I left my wallet somewhere. I don't have my real credit card on me. I can use a virtual card on my Privacy mobile app. But really the best part is you're not out there exposing your real credit card number, so you're not as susceptible to data breaches and identity theft. Privacy is a totally free service, and you'll get $5 to spend when you go to privacy.com/Pakman. The link is right underneath this video.